Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESL 1 Frankfurt 2014, where, I don't know what that is, but that's fine. Just little things now and again to trip us up, but we're not going to be tripped up. Welcome back. We're headed towards match number 3. It is currently 1-1 between Europe and China after Fnatic won the last game. We're not actually going to get any more of that today.
Nope.
Was that about what you thought? I know you didn't actually have Fnatic going through, but does that seem about right?
I am actually really happy because look at how things are today. TI2, oh, Chinese players are the best. TI3, Chinese no more. Right now we have the perfect balance right here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's nicely done. Jacob, quick recap on what we've seen so far. Expected, unexpected. I mean, you're 110% right so far.
True enough. I think Notel put it best on stage when he said he was surprised that they let Wisp Tiny through to begin with all 3 times. And secondly, he doesn't expect any of the teams coming on later to give them that combo again.
Are you getting distracted by something, Jacob?
Yeah, there's a little Fnatic fan crowd that is really, really pleased with Fnatic and Notel right now.
I see. What are they saying, anyways?
It's drunken talk.
Okay, I can understand. There they are. Look at that flag.
Complete lunatics, absolute lunatics. We get them all up here, by the way. It's the only place you can allow them in. I think they give them all VIP
That's
badges,
how
right?
I got here, Paul. Thank you very much.
That's how Bruno got on the show. Just quick recap for you as to where we are. 2 semi-finalists already. Invictus Gaming going through earlier on in a 2-1 victory over the Mouse Sports team. And Fnatic now claiming a place in the semi-finals over Vici Gaming at the bottom of your bracket. They'll play either EG or Na'Vi, which will be our final game of the evening. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to concentrate on Alliance versus Cloud9. How pumped on a scale of 0 to 9,000 are you right now?
I mean, 8,999
you're
because
saving some
I'm saving
for,
some.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know me very well, Paul. But this matchup, it has happened so many times this year so far. Dream League finals, even before that, in the playoff stage, they played both times Alliance won. DreamHack Bucharest finals, Alliance won. You have to go back to the group stage in a match that really didn't matter to see actually Cloud9 beating Alliance. Alliance seems to have their number, and we'll see if they do that again today.
Yeah, that is the main thrust of what we're looking at. About other matches we've sort of talked about. Each team has a specific story behind them, or there's a reason why they need to win. But actually, this is about both of these teams clashing so often.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 has something to prove right now. They haven't taken any major titles down, whereas Alliance is one of the most accomplished teams in Dota 2. They don't even have as long a track record as a lot of the other teams present here today, yet they have more titles than anyone, maybe bar Na'Vi.
Yeah.
So I think Cloud9 has the most to prove, and they really want to establish themselves going into TI as one of the top teams.
Yeah. How do they do that, Seb?
My question is who's going to hold strategies, because I have a strong feeling like one of those teams is going to. I don't know why, it's just how I feel, and I'm pretty, like in my opinion, it's going to be Alliance. When you're the TI3 winner, 1 month before TI4, you obviously have very high expectations. And that might be them, just trying to hold something back for the tournament because they expect, I guess, top 3 and nothing less. Whereas Cloud9, as you guys said, they still have to prove themselves. And holding strategies back and proving yourself is, in my opinion, not possible. So they will have to go all in for this. And Alliance is one of the best opponents to do so, right? So I would see actually Cloud9 having a really good shot at winning versus Alliance.
Okay. Great performance by Alliance in Dream League. I mean, they're that kind of team. Last year we saw complete and utter dominance, 7 in a row in terms of tournament victories, 8 in 9, leading up to the international, dominated there. They were just the perfect Dota 2 team last year, up to the international. This year hasn't been the same for them. They haven't had that dominating feature, but just at the right time, it seems, hey presto, they come up with a big win in Dream League.
I think it's about how hungry they are, to be honest. After TI3, I think they were like, okay, we just accomplished the biggest, we just won the biggest tournament there is, and then I think they just relaxed for a bit. They chilled out the rest of the year. They weren't performing as well as TI3 because they weren't practicing as hard. And I guess also when you play a big tournament like TI3, you show a lot of your hand. So the teams, of course, the team that you will analyze the most on is the winner. So a lot of the teams were trying to counter them a lot. Now, I'm going to disagree with Matt because I think that Alliance will go full throttle
Yeah.
because they want to make a statement.
I completely agree with Sundar, and we saw it last year as well. They were going into TI3 as the absolute favorites, but that didn't mean that they were hiding strategies at all.
No.
They played their best in everything they played in.
You know why I actually agree with Seb is because Alliance really doesn't need to show anything. They can still win with what they had 2 weeks ago.
That's a valid point.
So if they keep playing the Nature's Prophet, they give that away. If they give the Tree and Protector, if they give these heroes with which Alliance feels so comfortable with, well, then Cloud9 will probably have to work so hard.
I
to
quite
win them.
like this. We've got 2 versus 2 for a first time in a while. This could get quite feisty.
Well, the Danes have allied. How surprising is that?
They have indeed. If you would like to disagree or agree with our panelists here, you can do so right now by heading over to ESL-1.com and participating in our fun vote. There's also some prizes to win as well, which you can check out on ESLgaming.com. Go there right now. Vote on the team you think is going to win, and a little bit later on in the programme we'll reveal who you think is going to win between these two. I'm not going to get your votes just yet, gents. We'll come to that and we'll compare a little bit later on. But I've kind of got a little inkling here that this might just be a bit more balanced than we've seen so far. Jacob, Alliance are full of stars, full of men who have been involved in this for many, many years. I mean, they're one of the oldest teams that we've got right now in terms of
They
age.
have 2 players that are some of
they
the
have-
oldest.
They have 2 players.
Yeah.
All right, fine. But average age 24. That's old.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm more prone to say that that's young, but in this setting, they are one of the
Thank you.
oldest young teams.
One of the oldest youngs. That's a said moment you just had.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I could have said that though.
I think they're one of the.
Actually crossed my mind, but I
It
was
did.
like,
but
I'm not
you-
gonna say
I'm
it.
say that sounds really bad.
And then he said it, so
Okay. Well, that makes it okay. They're doing all right in this.
Yeah,
I'm going to give
right.
this team 3 points.
thanks.
Wow.
I felt like that. Just
They
Comedy panel
need to
judge.
catch up a little bit, right?
really, you guys have 23 points. Right
That's
now, so,
how we roll.
Yeah.
you're really rocking.
Yeah.
this.
20 of those
We're
were
having
for
a
the shirt,
stand-in
right?
right now
Yeah.
because we have 3 players actually. Ben
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Well, you're subbing them in.
Yeah. We're making strategic rotations.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
He was on-
might sub someone in soon enough.
Right. Well, as long as neither of you take one out because they're unwell and put a new kid in to replace him, then I'm okay with that. 'Cause
Hashtag
otherwise, that
too
could get
soon.
I will
really
email you
messy.
in advance, don't worry.
Just saying, okay? All right, so Alliance, obviously, he did like that. He knew that was coming. Alliance versus Cloud9. And, Alliance are that big team. They're the big play team. They loved it at Dream League. You could see it was in front of their home fans and what have you. And I think that gave them a little bit of a lift. We saw also Harney earlier, and Mouse Sports really thrived off that. But how much do Alliance miss that if they're out here with the big crowd? They've still got a massive, supporter base. Are they're going to be cheered on as much as Cloud9, do you
I
think?
mean, we'll have to hear that from the crowd once the game starts. I think some of the guys there are trying to express their love. But yeah, they still have some Swedish followers following them around. And they're the TI3 champions. Reigning champions always have the thing that want to back them up. So I think people will be happy to see them here. And then again, it's up to them. They're grown-ups. They're the old guys. So I don't think they will be worried too much about getting cheered or not.
I think regardless of where you go, any event, Alliance and Navi will always have a big fan base. That's just what you get from being a TI champion for being one of the Western favorites for a long time.
Okay. Sean earlier on caught up with some fans. This is what they had to say.
We're here obviously with thousands of Dota fans, none more so than Adrian and Sting rooting for Fnatic here. How are you liking the event so far?
Yeah, it's really great. It's a great crowd, many people. Yeah, it's amazing.
Now, did you ever imagine that you'd be sitting here in Frankfurt with tens of thousands of friends, fans, people that you connect with on a level of Dota?
Wow, no, I couldn't believe it would be so great. So we bought our tickets on the first minute when they came out, and yeah, now we are finally here. It's great.
And plans for today? What do you want to see? What do you want to do? What's exciting you?
Well, of course, good Dota games. That's maybe the most important part. And we love to go to the secret shop and get some goodies. Yeah, that will be nice.
Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. And of course, you can check out all the goodies and get your own swag by heading over to ESL-1.com.
Good job there, Sean. Sean's been roving around all day finding absolute lunatics to talk to. It's good to find some sensible people for a change. And Fnatic fans as well. So, plenty of fans, plenty have got
There's a
support.
lot of them here today.
I love the fact that now more than ever in esports, we're really starting to see that kind of football attitude, if you like, in a good way, not the biting way.
I mean, we just saw the hooligans over here.
Absolutely, we did. That's the other end of the scale, and there's no biting going on whatsoever on this stage. But we have seen people really passionately supporting their teams, buying the shirts, buying the names on the back, and turning up here and being really passionate about their teams that they want to win. And I love that.
I think we had half the crowd standing when Fnatic won, giving them a great applause, and it really felt good for the crowd to see that Fnatic could actually topple BT Gaming. Not a lot. I mean, maybe a lot of Europeans had seen that coming, but globally, I don't think Fnatic was by any means the favorite in that matchup.
And I think a lot of experts, particularly on this desk, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, but experts, it's a free title.
Yeah, okay. Right, talking of experts and predictions, let's take a look at the predictions of these 4 men on this desk. Right now, it's split 3-1. So Malk still has an opportunity to be 110% right. Syndrome could go to 66, and so could Bruno. And Seb could also be last. Or first, because he could be a genius here. He's the only one that's gone for Cloud9. So why?
Do not let me down, Sing Sing.
Okay.
Like
you're praying at the Sing Sing
You put a
temple?
lot of thought into this, I can tell.
like honestly,
Brilliant analysis, expert analysis. We paid him as well to come.
they could take it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Cloud9 will take that game.
Would you say they could win or Alliance could win?
Both of them could win. I worked really hard for that, and that was my conclusion.
Whoever plays the losing strategy is going to take it.
You gotta lose one
Repetitively.
game. The problem with the losing strategy is that you gotta lose once, and then it works. For the first game of the series, it doesn't work.
If it doesn't work, then you lose, which means that you will win.
And then you're fine. Exactly.
Okay. So it's give false confidence to the opponent's strat.
The more I hear this, the less I get it.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you on this. I
don't
have
think
no
anyone
idea
gets it.
what's going on right now, except the fact that Seb has gone for Cloud9, and the rest of you have gone the sensible option, some would say, and you've gone with Alliance. Known, trusted, safe.
And with experience in the past from beating Cloud9. So I'm sure that some of the Cloud9 players have dreamt of past games against Alliance. Maybe in their dreams they got the right ideas. We'll see if that's possible or not. But that's once the game starts, not now. Now it's time for predictions.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, predictions, fine. So the 3 of you have all gone for Alliance.
I feel like Alliance is the complete package. They have the teamwork, they have the experience, and they most definitely have the individual talent. On top of that, they have chemistry together, all being Swedish and all, being nice guys. So
Cloud9s are not nice guys.
definitely,
what you're saying?
they may not be as experienced or have the
Shots
same
fired.
level of team play as Alliance. I mean, that's proven. Alliance is one of the, if not the best team. Last year, they were definitely the best team.
you have
I
a
think
point.
they could very well repeat that this year.
All right. It's interesting that the last time this happened, where 3 of you picked one team and the other guy that stuck out on his own there, just saying, he managed to, be right. So stick with it, Seb. You'll be
got that.
fine. You might actually win this one after all, and
I'm
not
very
look like
confident.
a complete idiot.
I'm
That's
confident.
good. Okay, good. Viewer predictions-wise, let's check in with those as well and see what you guys thought at home. It's currently 70-30 in favour of Alliance.
What about the last 10%?
I'm not sure.
Unknown. I guess.
Yeah, they seem to have
undecided.
messed that one up, don't
They
they?
vote
They've
neither.
definitely messed that one up.
Sorry, American joke.
Last 10% draw.
I think it might be 80-30.
That could be.
Could be 70-40.
Yeah.
The problem
knows?
here is that so far the public their prediction has been perfect, right? They were for Fnatic, like it was Fnatic and it was IG. So
Yeah.
I might be in trouble here.
All right, okay. Let's go through the Alliance lineup and talk a little bit more widely about the players that they've got. Let's start with Loda. I mean, what is left to say about the man?
Well, I mean, the thing about Loda so much is if you go back through history, he's been playing for how long now, Malk?
10, 11?
Let's say 9
I think
years.
a year less than me, so 9 years is safe to say.
9 years, right? And he was the bad boy of the scene for a long time, right?
Was he?
Yeah, he kind of was.
I think he was more like the handsome devil.
Yeah, I would see that. Like,
Owen Wilson, I think a lot of people like to call him.
yeah.
in Dota.
yeah, that's true. And he kind of had a twist and turn, and right now he's one of the nicest people. And when you see him speak for his team, he's always like, it's all about the team. Our opponents were great. We were lucky, and I love to hear him speak right now.
Yeah, definitely. He's matured a lot. He's really, really good at interacting with his fans and very grateful.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm still having weird visions of Loda playing in Brokeback Mountain, but okay, let's move on.
Wait, that's not Owen Wilson.
That's not Owen Wilson.
It's a joke.
Oh,
Oh, come on. Really? Cloud9's
Old
lineup
man
looks
humor.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
definitely
worry.
an old man joke.
That joke.
Dad joke. And Cloud9 do have a lot of support here in the crowd, that's for sure. And most of it, Seb, is going to be pinned on your man, the man that you're pinning all your hopes on, Sing Sing.
well, he's a great player, obviously, but I
A bit
still wanna-
overrated in my opinion.
He's a bit underrated in my opinion.
A bit underrated.
I would really like to see him on very
a good
different
team?
heroes, like
Oh.
unusual heroes, very aggressive ones. I don't like. He obviously plays a very good brewmaster. He has been playing a lot of brewmaster lately, but I don't feel like it's really the Sing Sing kind of hero. I'd rather see him on bottom and putting out some really
Shoot-
big plays like great
Shoot
arrows.
arrow,
Or,
hit
yeah,
arrow.
Hit arrow.
exactly.
Good game.
So yeah, looking forward to see him performing as well
Okay.
as the others, obviously.
Bruno.
Here's the thing. When you're playing against Cloud9, the question is, will Sama have mercy? And he's been feeling a little bit merciful against Alliance. Maybe the stars align in Alliance's favor, but I think this time, if Sama turns it on, no mercy mode, Alliance might be in trouble.
Really? But why weren't they in trouble last 2-3 times?
Again, he was very merciful. He's a merciful god.
Right.
Yeah. He
Okay.
does that.
The last time was 3 for 2, right?
Yeah.
The Dream League
Yeah,
final.
it was
So
fairly
it was
close.
Yeah.
A little bit of mercy, but not so much.
It was 3 for 2.
A tiny, small amount of mercy applied. Yes, nice indeed.
Instead of asking, is there any heroes that you want them to play? Are there any heroes that you want them to not play? Especially when talking about Cloud9.
Man, this is such a bait.
no,
This is
that's-
such a bait.
I know.
Okay.
What a
Silencer was not their best hero recently.
Oh, that wasn't even the one I thought of.
Okay.
I guess you're thinking
But
about
yeah.
Tinker, right?
Oh, not even
No?
that either.
Okay, we have a list. Come on.
The support Tinker.
Right, okay,
the
let me
support
write
Tinker
this
really
down.
didn't work.
What about Zeus?
I'll just leave it like this is getting out of hand.
Which is never going to get there right now. How many heroes? Yeah, we've got 100 heroes left. You want to carry on going?
Actually, their wisp is actually pretty bad. They're 2 and 5.
Okay.
Harder.
Yeah.
I just want to pick up on a few things that Loda recently said.
Please go
actually, in Dream League interviews with you guys, he said, we need to improve our movement, we need to be less predictable, and we still need to work on communication. And this is the team we're talking about, who were the best team in the world last year, and they still feel like those are flaws. That's incredible.
Yeah. There's always room for improvement, right? Like
Yeah.
no one plays this game perfect, and every day is a new day, and the game keeps developing by itself. The meta always changes. I think it's especially interesting. Was that after their victory because they played Wisp twice
Yeah.
in the grand finals, if not thrice? And if there's a hero that has great movement, I mean,
Yeah.
It is Wisp.
it's Wisp.
Yeah. But sometimes you get the biased perspective when you're playing from yourself. I mean, you see your side of the equation, not the other ones. And you feel that some things are mistakes when they really aren't in the grand picture. Or if they are, they're tiny enough so that they don't make a difference. But you yourself feel bad about that. If you're the supporter that just make the wrong move and you cause an avoidable death, for example, you'll be like, could this be better?
I think one thing that he meant by that is also the fact that he knows how well his team can perform. And as such, it was maybe disappointing to him that they actually dropped 2 games in the grand final. On home turf, no less.
That's correct.
If I'm not mistaken, though, it was the 3-0 series before that one, right?
Yeah, Cloud walk-ins has begun, as you can see. And the ever-popular Swedes are taking to the stage right now.
And Loda wants to document his life.
Yeah.
He's going to release a movie in 50 years.
That's a GoPro, right?
Oh,
Oh, is that Boca
Bulldog.
Juniors flag? Oh no, it's a Swedish flag, sorry.
Is he going to play Juggernaut?
Plenty of support for the boys in blue as well. Cloud9 entering the stage here at the Commerzbank Arena for ESL 1 Frankfurt 2014 as they line up alongside Alliance. And I'm not sure how to call that in terms of who won the crowd loudness there, because
Well,
that was pretty loud for
You know,
both.
I think it's really ballsy of them to be wearing Bavarian colors in Hessen. Like, who would do that, right? It's a little bit crazy, so they might lose a little bit of the crowd right there. But I don't know, these are just weird people.
Yeah.
What I was wondering is
Okay.
who's going to be the Crystal Maiden to Bulldog's Juggernaut? Any suggestions?
EGM.
EGM.
AGM could be. I mean, Ake is.
You saw the new Crystal Maiden
I was
thing,
thinking
right?
outside the team, but I'll leave it at that.
He's probably around.
It's got to be inside the team. right?
What?
That's not going to be outside the team. Alliance are very close.
Yeah.
It actually didn't
Shiver.
work.
How you doing?
Whatever.
And we shall move swiftly on because that got very awkward very quickly. It's basically, I think we're just going to call this the awkward desk and be done with it. That's probably the best. Yeah?
We'll live with it.
Okay. We're going to take
Why
a look
did
at...
everyone look in my direction?
Why indeed,
we were
Mr.
collective
Jacob?
in our assumptions there,
Right.
going across to you. It was a friendly thing. It was a banter thing. Because we all love you a lot.
Thank you.
We are going to move on now, and we're going to take a look at each of the players, or at least 2 or 3 of the players on both the two teams. First of all, we're going to take a look at Loader on Alliance and look at him in a bit more detail. There he is, the man himself, and the Alliance carry. Played professional in Dota since 2006, alongside his longtime teammate, and in fact, they actually went to college together as well.
Yeah.
So they've known each other for like 100 years.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's like half
They-
your
they-
age.
They
I
were
know.
twins separated at birth, and then they rejoined.
That's 1-1 between you and Melt now on the age jokes.
They actually split at one point, right?
Yeah. But then they got together because they're like opposite, polarized.
Came
you know?
together again.
And then, do you know why they came together?
I don't.
Because of an S4RP.
Get out. It's all right.
The door is over there.
All right, no, your joke was better. Your joke
Yeah,
was better.
see, look, I think
Yeah.
that was definitely an old dad's joke, that one. Second player that we're going to take a look at is his erstwhile teammate, the man that has been alongside him for almost his entire career, Aki. So, and again, just 2 legendary players at the same time, been in this team together through different teams and different lineups, of course, and we said his high school friend. I mean, it's just such a great story between these two.
What level of synergy can you reach? Like when you play together? How many games did they play together? Easy ones, hard ones. It's actually impressive to see them sticking around. Like, it's honestly impressive.
And you know what there is to love about this guy, also about his awesome hair, but he's a Swedish video game champion. Like, if you didn't know, like there's a video game competition where you play a lot of stuff. I think it was Super Nintendo or
He's
something.
like awesomely good at everything Nintendo.
Exactly. You just give him a game, and he will destroy
It's
you.
like awesomely good at everything.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
impressive.
even more so, let's just make this an Aki praise fest. But whoever I talk to, not just in Dota, but everywhere in esports, they always come back to me and say, you know what, who's really likable? That guy from Alliance, Aki.
Yeah.
I love that guy. And everyone says that. Like, I've never heard anyone criticize that guy. He's 100% lovable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's definitely the kind of lad that you would want to take home and let your daughter marry.
I'm so glad that you finished that with your daughter.
Totally.
Yeah, let's move on very quickly. S4 is our 3rd member of the Alliance team, and a man who is well, right there on your screen and getting plenty of attention from the crowd as being the captain, well known for the $1 million coil at TI3.
And that it's not just that, he is also the playmaker. He calls all the shots, he does the strategies, he's the solo mid. In many regards, he's probably one of the key reasons to why they're so successful.
Yeah.
So he deserves also a lot of praise for him. It's hard not to praise a team like Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, we picked 3 out, but we could easily have done
Yeah, we could
this
have
on
continued.
all 5 players as well. So, yeah, fantastic lineup. We're going to move on to Cloud9. Aoi first is our first player to take a look at. Bruno,
Yes.
talk me through.
AUI 2000, this guy, he started as a carry. You were talking about strikers going to midfielders, going to defenders. This guy started as a carry and an amazing lone druid player, and also Phantom Lancer player, according to Loda, and he actually moved away from that role when he went to Cloud9, decided to play support, but all habits die hard, Paul. He still farms low. When you give him a Visage, he's probably normally top of the chart in the GPM of his team. He's amazing.
He's also an innovator. The mechanism Razor and Viper was originally invented by Aoi. The Rod of Aoi, or the Rod of Atos, is probably one of the only players to still use it. For the past 2 years, literally no one else but him seems to pick up that item.
And I think as far as if there's one good word to describe Cloud9, I think it's try hard. I think it's what a lot of people call them, because these guys will always, they sit down, they theorycraft, they discuss so much inside the team. Everyone is just so much into the game that they're actually developing these kind of strategies where, I mean, you see Aoi pulling something off. That doesn't mean it's him who invented it. Maybe it was like a dialogue they had over 3 hours where they were talking about, okay, should I build Rod of Atos with 2 staffs of wizardry first, or should I get the vitality booster first? And then they discuss all the pros and cons, try it in a million ways. So these guys really work hard, and it shows for all of the players.
Seb, you were going to say?
I was going to say that I remember talking to AOI at TI3, even like before the event, and he was already calling the Lycan mid, how good it could be, etc. So it's, I mean, it's now being played. It's been a few months, so he was already thinking of that. I mean, just to emphasize what you guys are saying, he's a great player and he has a great mind. He's very smart.
Yep.
Okay, move on. Eternal Envy.
Eternal Envy. What can we say about this guy? You were talking about tryhard. You know, Paul, how there are 6 item slots in this game for hero. This guy was like, well, 6 items is not enough for how fast I farm. So he was the first guy that started bringing the courier next to him and swapping items and using everything at the same time. He was the first guy to do it. Then other guys followed through. He is a mechanic, obsessive, and in a good way. He will always get the most out of each hero, and it's impressive to watch.
Our third and final player from Cloud9 is one that many of you, if not all of you in the crowd, will know, and some of them that don't even play Dota 2 will have heard of, because he is a rather loud man indeed, and he's also Seb's favourite player in this particular matchup, because almost all of his hopes are pinned on this one man, and that's Sing Sing.
He's a great player to watch. It's the kind of player where, like, when the team is struggling, like, okay, we can't just speak for him. When the team is struggling, you can always expect big plays from that guy. And he can carry the team on his own. I'm looking forward to see him adapting to the pressure of that event, if he's going to feel it, which is not sure.
Jacob?
Yeah, definitely. I really like the teaser text. One of the most well-spoken gentlemen in all of Dota 2.
Yeah.
That was
Are we
pretty accurate.
going with that? Truth?
That's a truth. With
I'm not going to say what I heard him say yesterday when we were in the hotel,
Maybe it was well spoken.
but it was well spoken.
It was for sure.
Indeed.
Well spoken.
It definitely was well spoken. So, Loader and the boys getting ready, as we are also getting ready to head into picks and bans very shortly. What are you expecting in this one? Are we similar to Dream League? Are they gonna throw something new at us? Are they gonna change it up? Are they gonna go back to old stuff? What are they gonna do?
I think they're gonna run the same kind of thing that Alliance seems to always do and have done ever since their inception, basically. And they're gonna push. They're gonna go for push, and if not push as 5, then they split push.
I just want to see them pull out Tusk again.
Do we know who's actually drafting for them? Is it?
EGM?
Is it? Because they were saying before, S4, Loader, Halves, and now Bulldog was doing it as well. So
Really?
I'm really confused.
Oh,
That might be
okay.
hiding strategies, but I thought S4 was.
I think this force drafting
S4
again.
and Loader were the main 2 drafters, but Admiral Bulldog actually did at the Dream League.
Huh.
Yeah, they're rotating that a lot. But if you look at them, they're kind of.
I mean, if they're
talking
sitting
within each
together,
other,
it's
yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
determine, right?
They draft collectively.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
all
it's,
talk.
you get bored with nothing to do. Like sometimes they rotate the point and clicking part of it, but the decision comes from
They share
everyone.
the arthritis.
Yeah. How to save your hand, man. Otherwise, you get this.
Yeah.
Sound good.
I'm confident we are going to see very innovative picks from T9.
Really?
think so too.
You think
Yeah.
innovative?
Yes.
What, different from Dream League as well?
I think so. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So something we don't expect, and but
Yeah.
most importantly, something Alliance doesn't expect.
I think though that Cloud9 is definitely going to go for Brewmaster if they can. From what I've heard, it's one of those heroes that they respect the most.
It's been a bit hit and miss today as well, though, isn't it? Matches we've seen it picked, I think, 3 times out of the games maybe 4 actually out of the times. But there's been a bit. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't.
I think before Brewmaster, the hero that they will definitely try to go for is Doom. When they went to WPCAs in China, one of the things that they came and learned said, wow, Doom is really imba, and it really will fit the Western scene very well. In fact, every time they got Doom, they did really, really well until those finals against Alliance. But Alliance denied them the Doom, and that's why they dominated. If they let it go through, maybe Alliance would be in trouble.
I think Visage could actually be a contested pick, which we haven't seen yet at all. But both teams have excellent Visage players.
Yeah.
I think especially Cloud9 have been playing it more than Alliance. Alliance kind of backed away from that hero.
It was Aki playing it, right?
I think both Ake and mainly EGM,
Alright,
I believe.
okay. I actually
but
forgot.
Ake also plays it. I think
It's
yeah,
EGM.
they can just swap it around, which is
Yeah.
of course really great for them, so they have more options. But
But that being said,
Cloud9 will get it if they can.
Visage
I
is
think.
probably Cloud9's most famous hero
Yeah.
on Aoi, who always seems to get a scepter, even in the most dire situations.
The,
And Radiant situations.
Stat-wise, Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Statman, Tidehunter is the one that sticks out most as the most picked for Cloud9. 14 picks out of all of their matches in the latest patch. But 7 wins and 7 losses suggests that it's not always going to work.
The thing is that they rotate that hero in different positions. They played him in the offlane. They have played him mid.
Yeah.
And a couple of times they played it support as well. So it's hard to decide just by looking at the hero itself how well it is working. But the fact that they pick it is really good because it's not giving a strategy away. You see a Tide Hunter and Cloud9 and you don't know where that hero is going to go, and that opens a lot of possibilities as opposed to other heroes that immediately say, oh, this is a mid-Sing hero, you know.
Okay, interestingly, Alliance, their most picked in the latest patch is Trim.
On Ake, that's on Ake.
Yeah, it's an
It is on Ake, yeah.
got it right.
Yeah. 10 wins, 4 losses out of that, so pretty decent in terms of results.
I actually thought it was Nature's Prophet just because whenever
It's
they
second
play,
best.
I seem to just look at that and nothing else. I just follow Bulldog around with his Blink Dagger and Force Staff and Maelstrom.
And they're also very strong on Shadow Demon as well. It's also been very popular in the last couple of months for them. So it's going to be interesting to see what they go with in terms of the draft. Whether it's going to be a traditional or something maybe Seb said it's going to maybe a bit more radical and we see something different there. And last year, Cinder, and you made the point earlier on that leading up to the international last year, they didn't care. They still rolled in with a load of new strategies and different heroes being played and different meta all the way through. Every time they played in a tournament, they won it. And they won it because they weren't scared of showing people what they could do. And they went into the international and people were just like, well, now we have no idea what they're going to play. So same theory applies, right?
Yeah, I think Alliance is just one of the teams that is so confident that if they've done their research and they've tried something, they will believe in it. And if they have a bad game, they won't be afraid to play a losing strategy, like Seb would love to say, right? Because they realize that sometimes you just have a bad game. I think it's generally a mark for a lot of the top teams is that they don't lose faith in their strategy just because they can understand whether it was a bad draft or a bad performance. And Alliance do have off games. I think they have less off games than many other teams, but they will always believe in their picks. And I think maybe one of the teams here that will adapt the least during this series, I think, will be Alliance. I actually think they will. If they lose to a hero, they're not going to be one of the teams that are like, oh wow, this hero was amazing, we have to get it. They're either going to give it away again and counter it, or they're going to run another of their own strategies.
On the other hand, they were very criticized about that one playstyle that they would stick to no matter what. So, and they had this phase this year where they really tried to adapt. We saw them play very different picks because back in TI3 they were playing very split push oriented picks like the Coddle, the Prophet, and we've been seeing Alliance 5-man pushing mid. We've seen them going very aggressive on the opponents. So I actually would see them stick to what works, but not necessarily only one playstyle. Several ones. Yeah.
A couple of the other heroes that we haven't really seen much of so far. Invoker, not picked yet. Batrider is the other one as well that sticks out. Alliance are 6-1 on that so far in the new patch.
Yeah,
we've seen them use that very effectively.
You don't want to give us for that Batrider.
No, you don't.
No, you really do that. It's pretty much a suicide, not for yourself. And the way these players do, I'm sure that Batrider is going to be banned in the first stage every single time.
That's what's so interesting about having some of the best teams in the world gathered at this place. Every matchup is different. We were talking about earlier how every LAN is different in terms of what is good, but also every matchup is different because have you played Alliance? Have we seen VG Gaming up against Alliance? Batrider probably would have been rated a lot higher, right? So the meta changes around which matchup we're watching as well.
Yeah, it does, and it's definitely playing its part here. ESL 1, we are about to get into picks and bans, I'm hearing, and hopefully they can drop us in any moment now. Alliance versus Cloud9. Picks and bans on the way. Best of 3 in the quarterfinals. There is no second chance here at the ESL 1. Frankfurt is either win or go home. Not quite empty-handed because there is a decent amount of money to take home with you, but I'm sure dents to pride are definitely involved. So Alliance will want to go through this one. We've already seen Fnatic taking their place in the semi-final a little early on, and also Invictus Gaming from China also in to the semi-finals. Our final game of the evening, Bruno.
Evil Geniuses versus Navi.
He's so excited about it, he really is. He's literally Christmas Eve, and little junior Bruno has his pajamas on, actually quite close, and he's about to go to bed, and he just won't go to bed because he's so excited before Christmas morning.
I had too much sugar as well. I can't wait. Yeah, that would be really, really fun. But before, Alliance Cloud9, best appetizer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully we'll get to pick some bands any moment now. I was hearing we were ready, but maybe not quite yet.
There's one player we did not talk about, and he obviously they're all worth mentioning, but Bone7, I'm really looking forward to see him performing. Like, he's so unpredictable as an offlaner, so efficient as well. He's super aggressive, and it's funny, actually, we
also
have
a great Batrider player, so we're definitely going to see the banner picked.
They will ban it for sure. And there's a lot of, we've seen many aggressive offlane players, like we mentioned Trixie, ROTK. I think Bone7 is definitely one of those, so looking forward to
You know what's interesting about offlane players, and you mentioned D3, which are really important. Whenever I talk to support players from the team, I ask them, is there an offlaner that you kind of dislike playing against because he always seems to get a lot? and every team has an off-laner, but it's never the same.
Yeah.
It's like Alliance says, oh, Ball 7, it always seems to get away. And then you talk to Cloud9, like, Fanic is always a pain in the ass for us, sorry for my French. And then you go to, for example, Navi, and they say, well, Mac from Empire gets a lot from us. It's really interesting how slightly differences in off-lane plays can affect a lot in the team.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed,
The cheerfuls are getting better. They're getting more interesting anyway. I'm not so sure Sing Sing wants to have someone have his babies in the crowd today, but anyway, you're welcome to try. I'm not putting you off in any way, shape or form. But finally, we are into the drafts.
Yep. And the bans are pretty much as predicted. Alliance, they don't have the first pick, so they don't want to give away neither that Bat Rider, which no one wants, or the Doom, which Cloud9 loves so much. And on the other side, Cloud9 says, no Lycan for Dire and no Nature's Prophet for Bulldog. Going for this first pick, Brewmaster. Someone was right. Who was that said Brewmaster?
it was Mac.
These guys actually over here, they get another point. You're losing now.
Yeah.
It's
Surprised?
3 points.
How can Mel keep being right?
I want to mention though, the Lycan, it's 100% win rate and also 100% big and bad.
Yeah, big
So
ban every single game so
it's
far.
definitely the top 1 hero of this tournament so far.
This is what I like. They picked the Wisp. We saw them play something that we haven't seen for over a year, but we saw it at DreamHack again. They played Wisp and Rogue Knight.
Yeah.
This Sven.
You really like that hero.
That's bringing sexy back. I mean, EG had a really good run back when I played for them, where Fierce Sven
Slash
There's
Navi.
this famous, yeah, exactly, the Darkseid Sven combo where Fear takes down 4 heroes. That was back when it peaked, when it was the most popular, and we haven't really seen it since then.
What is wrong with Sven, the Rogue Knight syndrome?
I have no idea. With IO, I think he's
nothing,
amazing.
right?
It's very strong. It's
He's
super
amazing
strong.
with IO. I think there's actually quite a few games where it's probably better than Tiny. If you want to go for the late game situation and you have the right draft around it, Tiny offers a little bit more in the earlier stages of the game in the laning phase. But Sven, if you play a farming game where you stack, I think Sven actually comes online and becomes more relevant earlier than Tiny does. Like 25 minutes, you've got BKB, Mask of Madness, and a Crystallis, maybe Daedalus. If you have a really good game, you just run into a team fight. If IO overcharges you and you swing twice, the team just disappears. It's pretty crazy. I love that Alliance brought that back as well. I don't know where it went.
It's quite funny, Bruno. Statistically, they both had IO in their lineups in the new patch 9 times apiece.
Yeah. Who's better at it though?
Well, Alliance 6-3 up and Cloud9 are 3-6 down. So you know why it's gone where it's gone this time.
Oh wow, and we see the Skywrath
Oh.
Mage, and this brings me back to Fnatic.
Yeah.
But that's also a great pickup against Brewmaster.
It is.
Yeah,
With the silence.
The silence, it's instant cast. So the Primal Split is a little bit hard to actually cast. I mean, once you start casting, there is an animation, but the hero actually disappears. So once the animation started, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't click the hero anymore, or can you?
I think you need
I
to
have
be
no idea, honestly.
through some part of the animation. When you're already splitting you,
Yeah.
it takes like half a second. I
Yeah,
think.
so if you have the chance to actually stop me there, I know that in Dota 1 it was quite easy to do. And here we'll see, and there's the Tinker.
Instant Tinker.
First time today?
First time today, and let me tell you, if you never watched Dota before, follow this guy, because he's going to be all around the map and making Cap's life really difficult trying to track him down. He will do a great job, I'm sure of that.
I think it's interesting they're picking Tinker into IO Skywrath, who in my mind are actually both pretty good against Tinker. So Skywrath has a projectile that he shoots that follows the target, so you can actually see where he's going. You've got an instant cast silence that locks down Tinker so he can't re-arm. And then you've got IO with reload kicking. So they kind of counter each other in a way, IO and Tinker, but since it works 2 ways, I'm not
But
so
with the
sure
build
about
that is
this.
currently really popular with Tinker, the only build that is being used with the Dagon EB, those 2 targets in particular is just gonna melt.
Yeah, it's an easy kill if he gets to that point.
I would rather agree with that. Yeah, they're very squishy heroes, and position yourself with Kairos and IO versus Tinker, it's a nightmare if he has Dagon.
It's a funny hero, Tinker, like if you think about it throughout time, how it changes in how you build it.
Yeah.
I remember back when you always just maxed Laser and Rocket and you never actually went for Mars on the Machines until
And
later
you
on,
went
only to
Manta.
farm with.
You used
You
to
and
go
Manta,
Shiva.
you
if
and
go
Manta
that far
Lincoln
back.
if you wanted to,
But you went for like Manta and Lincolns
Yeah.
and Shivas, and you just did like Shivas, Manta, rearm, everything. And that's all you did. Then there was the Hex Craze, obviously, because of how good that just is to keep someone locked down. That's still very vital and viable, I think. But after the Dagon EB build was discovered, so to speak, it just seems so powerful that it's almost nerf
Maybe.
time.
I-
It is.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very hard to fight a Tinker plus Brewmaster lineup, and if I'm not wrong, actually Cloud9 won versus Alliance when they had those two heroes.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, they had the Tinker back then at Dream League, and I remember Bulldog playing a Slark, and
Yes.
the Slark was always committing so much into killing the Tinker, and that's the trap that you get when you face a fighting Tinker, not a split-pushing Tinker. It feels that you have to commit so much silences, slows, stuns, a lot of chain stuns, and if you do that, then the rest of the team will wipe you. And you have a Brewmaster, so you can't forget about him.
And
Oh,
the risk
boy.
of the Tinker surviving.
Oh, wow.
Talk about bringing it back.
I don't want to say it, but so I'm going to say it anyways. I actually thought when we were talking about how Sven and why no one picked it anymore, I was like, well, why did CK fall out of favor? It's only gotten better.
No, the tether nerf when
The
it
tether
didn't
nerf.
stun
Yeah,
anymore.
that was the
a
tether
huge
nerf.
change.
Okay, so indirectly it got worse, but CK himself got better.
That's true. He's a lot better now.
So it's surprising that no one actually used that.
The thing is that if you compare it to Sven or Tiny, both of the other guys have actually AoE damage and AoE stuns.
Yeah.
While CK is actually single target. And even worse, that I think the other thing that hurt CK so much was making the stun have a travel time. Used to be this instant thing that will stun you straight away.
But Phantasm late game is just bye-bye barracks, right?
50% of the time it works all the time.
I'm wondering why Alliance are picking Chaos Knight so early, though. It's not a hero that would have been contested in this draft. If they want to hide their last two picks, then fair enough, or want to save some time. But in my book, Chaos Knight is one of the heroes that can get really countered by AoE damage. Just something that clears out his illusions. And Alliance are giving... They're basically showing Cloud9 what their plan is right now. So that's why, first of all, they like playing Jakiro. But secondly, it's just... maybe they wanted it even more because of the Chaos Knight. Just something more to deal with the Phantasm.
Okay, I have to ask you right now. Do you see any chance of either the Brewmaster or the Tinker being playing off lane?
Brew, maybe.
Okay, because
Because they're going to
listen
put Tinker
this.
on support.
Well, potentially. Now, here's the thing. There's something that Cloud9 said before, and I think Andy got really angry at Aoi for saying that live on an interview. Aoi said, against illusion heroes, you know who's great? Meepo. And
Meepo?
actually they had Sing Sing play Meepo against Naga Sirens, against Phantom Lancers, and why not CKs? Because really, if you think about it, a couple poofs and all the illusions are gone. And then suddenly you're surrounding a CK, and what you gonna do? Paul, you're a king. Why are you smiling at that? Are you alright?
I'm absolutely fine.
Okay. It's a skill.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like poof.
No,
magic.
I know.
Yeah.
Paul also knows what a couple of poops are.
Hey, just be careful now.
Easy, Jacob.
Easy, boy.
Don't push your leg, boy. But yeah, coming back into this amazing draft, we do have the Storm Spirit right here. And the Storm Spirit, again, against the Tinker. Such a good hero. Once you get the Orchid, you get the jump on the Tinker, and what's the Tinker gonna do? If you can burst him enough?
He's really good against Brew too, and he's good against Jakiro in the sense that it's very hard to hit the Ice Path on the Storm. So I really like this pick from Alliance. I was expecting it could come up at some point, but they want to take it as late as possible.
The funny thing is, I'll refer you back to about 10 minutes ago when Seb said he thinks we're going to get a bit of a revolutionary pick system going on. And what do you think so far?
I mean, in a sense, it is. I mean, not really revolutionary, but kind of innovative. I mean, the THD wasn't picked in the whole tournament so far, so it's the first time we see it. And from C9, I really like that. I think it's one of the best top 3 heroes in the metagame right now. The way, like, right now, there's nothing very, very strange, to be honest. But it's just that Alliance is gambling. I think they can't really push, so they're really going to be looking to play super aggressive. Against C9, they have to dive, else they're not getting a tower. If Tinker just TPs, defend with the March. So they're diving into a THD, Brewmaster, and March of the Machine. So it's going to be really hard to dive into that with those very squishy heroes. They can sure take down one if they don't get hit by Aspas or some other AoE control spell. But I don't see them really crushing C9 under towers. C9 has a super defensive pick so far. And it's not even over. On a 4 versus 3 situation, I can already see them struggling. So,
Do you really need to push their towers when they're there, when you can actually split push with relocate, CK, Phantasm, just mow a tower, leave?
maybe you don't, yeah. Maybe that's a good point. They're just going to be looking to accumulate farm and
remember, there's Bulldog's hero is missing, which seems to be kind of a habit with Alliance.
it won't be Prophet. Then I mean, Nature's Prophet since it's banned, but
There
might
could be a lot of
yeah.
things. I mean, it could be a long druid if you wanted to.
I think
could-
Clockwork here would also be good.
Yeah.
against the Tinker.
Wouldn't it be overkill? Like maybe too much to count?
It is probably overkill, and Lone Druid would definitely be a safer route to go down, just to have that backup plan.
Yeah.
What about Bunny Hunter for Alliance? You like it?
Bounty Hunter for Alliance. Yes, I actually do. It synergizes very well with the other guys. I was still thinking that Truck gave minus armor, which is not the case anymore.
No.
But still, the mobility helps a lot because that Skywrath mage, poor little old guy, will have to follow tethered CK Wisp and the Storm Spirit jumping around. If you give a little bit of track, he will be able to catch up. Otherwise, he will be a little bit sad.
He's also going to have a really hard time against the Light-On for Cloud9 right now. There's the Clockwork. Got him.
Wow, nice shot.
First Clockwork of the tournament as well.
He's actually, the reason I'm completely with Melk on this is that a lot of Cloud9's heroes have long cast points, or high cast points. So when you hook shot in and you catch them in the cogs and you put on Battery Assault, they actually can't get their animation off. Jakiro cannot cast a spell when he's caught in the cogs. Neither can Tinker, I think. The rockets he can cast, but not the laser,
not the laser.
and not the March.
Yeah.
Nyx, I think, cannot cast anything else than Vendetta.
He can cast
Spike
Impale.
Carapace.
Spike
Yeah,
Carapace,
Carapace,
obviously.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Spike Carapace. And then Brewmaster cannot
Primal
cast...
Split.
Can he split?
No, he can't.
I don't know.
He can't
Not
split?
if, not if there's no other targets. I
Exactly.
mean, those
I think
scenarios.
Clock was a really good pick here. And it's a great setup for Chaos Knight IO as well. You hook in, you open the fight, then you relocate. It's a classic combination that Alliance has played a lot.
Okay, thanks very much, gents. We'll get your thoughts after the first match is done, but let's go now live to the commentary team for Alliance versus Cloud9.
Welcome back, guys, to our third series of the day, Alliance versus Cloud9. I'm looking at this draft, Merlini, and I am favoring Cloud9 heavily. Even though I thought Alliance would take this series, I'm looking at this first draft, and for me, it's all about Cloud9, and I'm loving that Tinker Brewmaster. Merlini, though, do you have faith in EE Sama?
Yeah, I think so. Alliance they have some sort of a timeline, though, is the biggest problem. Chaos Knight, he's not going to be able to outcarry a Tinker in late game. And Storm Spirit, he does have his vulnerabilities, especially with the Nyx Assassin and Lion in the game. So let's see who's going to take it home.
What do you think about this last pick, though? The Lion was something I didn't foresee at all. This is a heavy bursting hero. Again, they were talking about this earlier in the analyst test. They were talking about if we get to the point where we have a Tinker with a Dagon and an Ethereal Blade, they're just going to be able to destroy these supports. Well, now they've got a quick jump on that. Pile Eye can get a very fast Finger of Death and just start crushing those supports before they get off anything.
Yeah, I've seen it played before by a couple of teams. I think DK and Navi in particular against the Wisp, and you just blow up the Wisp as soon as he relocates. So, heading off to the gate. Alliance has to get a lot of work done in the first 15 minutes of the game. The pressure is on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the fact they were talking about the Clockwork is going to be an excellent aggressive hero up against Cloud9, but at the same time, they could have gone for the Lone Druid, which would have been the safer bet, allowing them to have a little bit more late game presence. And you know, if something goes wrong, if something go horribly wrong in the early laning phase, and they can't actually do that much in the mid game because they've given up too much for Cloud9, Alliance are going to start wiltering, and they won't be able to come back from that. So
Brewmaster controls Lone Druid, though, so well.
Oh, that's a good point. That's actually a really good point, something I didn't even think about when we were looking at that draft. So Alliance, I don't know, the Chaos Knight, though. For me, it all comes back down to the Chaos Knight. Do you think his time, I mean, he has been buffed, right? A little bit of RNG, you get that extra illusion. That's a lot of extra damage.
They've used it before. I think they're one of the most familiar teams with the CK Wisp combo, and they've been experimenting with it a little bit in 6.80 when CK was just completely out of the picture.
Pile Die quick to escape, but it looks like Alliance are going to pursue for this one as they're still trying to catch Pile Die with that extra movement speed. They will be able to find him. 1 second stun, but Loda instantly with the body block there gets in front of Pile Die. Good impale from Pi, but it's not going to be enough. The last nukes are coming in, and Pile Die will give up the first blood. Loda secures that one, and Alliance off to a great start in their aggro try.
325 move speed. They have a 325 move speed lineup in Skywrath and Chaos Knight, especially combined with Tether. It's just ridiculous. Lion, well, he's not going to get his fast level 6.
And Alliance are really shaping up to be able to shut down this Tinker nice and early. I mean, you're looking at the laning phase right now. You're seeing that this Tinker has very little to protect him at this point in time. Like a Lion and a Jakiro would be the defensive tri-lane. They can't really do that much to be able to stop this combination before a lot of damage comes out. Now, Aoi reveals himself in the middle lane, just throws down a little bit of damage on S4 where he can, harassing. But do you think that Cloud9 should be giving up? Maybe just like trying to turn this into, I know you don't want to give up on a Tinker entirely, but do they have this support stay middle, which it looks like Aui's going to be camping here just to try and shut down S4 as much as Alliance are shutting down Eternal Envy?
I don't think that's their only option. Yes, they could dish Eternal Envy and try and let them catch up later, but they could also just put Eternal Envy mid and just put Sing Sing in the safe lane. It's not that important if Brewmaster doesn't get farmed. He'll catch up sooner or later, and they can also utilize the Ancient stacks a lot better from the Radiant mid as opposed to the Radiant safe lane.
Yeah, that's a good point. With the dual lanes, they have easy access to be able to just run over there, stack it real quickly. Looks like Ake has been spending a lot of time just to try and force Aoi out and cancel out that 2v1 advantage as much as he can. That's just going to leave us with the Wiz Chaos Knight, who is going on Eternal Envy right now with a couple of right clicks. They will secure it again. Pylai Dai could do little against that. He threw out the Earth Spike, but what more can you really do? Once you're just a little bit too far out, away from your tier 1 tower, this combination can just run you down with all that extra movement speed.
Yeah, he's not even getting a TP back to lane. He actually bought a Sage's Mask before, and he's gonna miss out on a lot of precious experience and farm being that far away, and I don't really know how he's gonna catch up. Alliance already has this area covered, and at the same time, Aki is just constantly pressuring Aoi too in case he wants to get any Ancient stacks off. So yeah, Tinker we usually see pretty much left unchecked in the first 10 minutes, and after that it's usually too late, and Alliance with the right idea early on in this match.
Absolutely. Looks like, take a look at the CS. Alliance are doing very well in every single one of their lanes, so they've got to be happy with the way this is transitioning. And this aggro dual lane, which is pretty much what it's turned down to, with Ake making the rotation over. Looks like they're going to jump once again. Earth Spike misses that time, and Pylai Dai is going to pay the cost. Loda, hexed up for a long time, is still going to be able to get off the 2-second stun. But with the March of the Machines in the back and the tower in front, Loda will back himself away. It's a little too dangerous.
Yeah, and EGM too, already with the bottle, doing his classic double branch build early on, and that'll give him a lot of sustain. Tinker's just still working towards his Soul Ring too, and even then he's not going to have boots for quite some time, whereas Loda already up with treads too. So Tinker is by no means out of the clear, and Lion can't go stack for him or he'll just be completely vulnerable.
His top lane, we have a little bit of 1v1 action. Well, going to be joined by Ake here as they start going for Bone 7. He's trying to get away from Admiral Bulldog and that pesky Battery Assault, and he will be able to do so. The high amount of regen he has in this hero just means that he should be able to stay in lane pretty decently. Mid lane, Sing Sing's going to be able to land the slow. The follow-up Ice Path will miss, but now the Lion comes in from the side, hits that X, and that is going to be the first kill for Cloud9. The 2 support rotation gets a kill for Storm Spirit. Excuse me, on the Storm Spirit, getting a kill for Sing Sing, which is perfect. The faster Sing Sing can get to level 6 and has that primal split, the better opportunities he has for an additional kill in the Storm before he has that escape mechanism.
Nyx Assassin also went for a 3-0-2 build. The 2 levels in Spike Carapace actually saved him there. Had he not had that, Admiral Bulldog would have been able to catch up to him and kill him with Battery Assault. Generally, you do want the Mana Burn versus Skywrath and the Storm Spirit, but if it delays your levels too much early on, then it's not worth getting. And if you're laning versus Clockwork too, not the best use.
Cloud9 are trying to do as much as they can, what looks like this laning phase. They're moving supports around the map as much as possible, trying to put pressure elsewhere, which makes a lot of sense. When you're in a losing try versus try scenario, you want to be able to shake up the lanes a little bit, but I feel like Alliance are matching every step that Cloud9 have been making, excluding that 3-man gank in the middle lane that we just saw.
Well, Tinker did actually go for the boots instead of the Soul Ring too. Soul Ring just leaves him way too vulnerable, and he can't even really utilize it. We'll see one of the first Ancient stacks come out from Pylai Dai in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's just, at this point, it's 1v1 Chaos Knight versus the Tinker, and without that extra movement speed, even just the small amount of boots helps him drastically. Of course, he can always laser. That'll give him some time, maybe even to teleport away, but he needs a little bit extra just to be able to help him out in the laning phase.
Oh, they have no idea where he is right now, though, so that's very good for C9. Kind of just leave him alone.
EGM taking a wander about. S4 so close to that level 6. You could see he's just trying to stay in experience range. He has no idea what's going to be happening in the next few minutes. He just needs to have that level 6. And with the experience just barely getting in range, he will be able to pop it. Reveals himself now, feeling much more, you know, he's good. Like, if they try and get a little bit too close, it has to be the Lion getting in range to be able to land a Hex. And the only way that's going to happen is if an Ice Path lands, and even then it's going to be really close.
Yeah, Aki moving around, stacking up a little bit too. And yeah, as you said, bottom just a 1v1 Chaos Knight versus Eternal Envy on the Tinker. But the wars are about to expire. The ones in first place when the horn blew, about to go down. And C9 had to be feeling very, very vulnerable at this stage.
Vision, always pesky, especially with the laning phase, moving around so much. These supports constantly moving around. You never know which solo is going to be taken in next. Really, the only heroes that have to feel a little bit confident about themselves is going to be that Clockwork as well as the Nyx Assassin. Both of them are tanky enough to deal with just single rotations by themselves. We saw the Nyx Assassin from earlier. Now, Eternal Envy's doing what he can to farm up, but you're going to feel this alliance pressure constantly in the next few minutes.
So let's see an unusual build coming out from Loda. He started off with the power treads after getting the early kill, and then has another belt of strength. So most likely going for a Sage, but usually you'll see drums, you'll see armlet, you'll see something different. So curious to see where he's gonna go with that and why.
Sing Sing, he reveals the fact that he's got that haste in his bottle right now, and he's getting close. Do you think he's gonna be going straight for that Blink Dagger this game, no arcane boots?
I think he needs to.
Got to be able to find that initiation. No, we missed it. Tinker goes down to the bottom lane. Loda and EGM finally get that kill on the pesky Tinker, who is trying to hide himself away from the lane as much as possible, but finally gets caught out by the duo. And they can start laying down some serious pressure. You can see what Alliance have done to be able to ensure themselves as much an advantage in this bottom lane as possible.
And fantastic positioning by Pylai, trying to make something out of nothing.
Turtle Envy, a little ballsy here with his teleport in deep to that tier 1 tower. Barely managed to get himself away from Loda, who went for that Chaos Rift. But because he was able to stay in the trees, spams out that March of the Machines, it will be able to defend up against the push. But honestly, the Chaos Knight and Wisp, they're not looking for really taking towers. They'll do tower damage where they can, but they are hero killers through and through. And I think we're going to be seeing some heavy rotations from them in the next 10 minutes. Storm Spirit, meanwhile, S4, while he did pick up his level 6, he's still continuing to sit in this middle lane, try and farm up as much as possible. Orchid seems pretty key here for S4.
And Chaos Knight actually picked up a point of Phantasm pretty early. You usually don't see that because Reality Rift, you really do need that lower cooldown, but Phantasm helps you tank the tower a little bit, does a lot of damage actually, and with a recent buff, maybe you'll even get 2 extra illusions. So it can also dispel Drunken Haze, make it more difficult for Sing Sing to cyclone him, dispel Laser too, so the utility from that spell is definitely worth the single point.
Yeah, they've got a lot of great missing abilities. That Chaos Knight, he has that initial amount of burst damage with his Chaos Bolt, but if he isn't able to get in those right clicks, you severely disable the hero. So both the Brewmaster and the Laser coming out from the Tinker are going to be huge counters to him. Pretty passive so far, 1-3, 9 minutes in. See the gold lead right now. Alliance are leading for the time being in both gold and experience, but EGM's going to be caught out as Bone 7 finds maybe his first successful rotation with Sing Sing also coming in with the Blink Dagger. They're going to go for 2. Loda stunned up, but he's so tanky. Bone 7 has no additional mana to be able to provide to that one, and Alliance will rotate in a lot of heroes. I think Cloud9 very happy with that exchange. They didn't get the additional kill, but they forced rotations, and that's probably the next best thing to getting that extra kill.
There was this really awkward exchange up on top. Ake was over here. Lion just walked right by him, and I believe he was watching bottom, determining whether or not he should go bottom and save Loda, and they were just both looking at the fight on bottom and standing right next to each other.
Look at Admiral Bulldog. He's made himself quite the jump as he goes for Bone 7. Of course, Bone 7 does have the spike carapace, but only protects you from an instant of damage, and Admiral Bulldog will be able to claim that kill. So his first rotation is a huge success, being able to kill that other offlaner, and he's got a large amount of gold in the bank. He was already farming up so well in that 1v1 top lane, but now with a successful rotation like that, he's got to be feeling very happy about his item progression.
So Alliance has passed the first test in this game. That's not lose a lane in the first 10 minutes and build up a sizable lead and delay Tinker BOT. So they've accomplished most of their objectives early. It depends on heavily on how they can transition this, how much further they can make Tinker irrelevant and keep them under control. And they also need to stymie the ganks from Bone 7. Speaking of...
Yep, he's going to be able to find the kill on Ake. Bone 7 with the Vendetta. He's been rotating around to some of these other tier 1 towers, picking off the supports rather easily. Of course, like Storm Spirit is constantly sitting in range of his tier 1 tower or has some sort of protection in some form. You would love to be able to find that kill, but it looks like Bone 7 is just contenting himself with support pickoffs for the time being. The other 2 cores, of course, are just too tanky.
Loda actually trying to extend Alliance's timeline by a significant amount by going for this early hand of Midas too. Gets a lucky proc on the Phantasm, will allow him to take this tower down very, very easily. And I think some people criticize Loda for getting Midas a little bit too often, but in this sort of game, he needs to be a very, very significant late game threat because it's just so difficult to break C9's base. They have a Panda who already has a Blink Dagger and a Tinker who's going to catch up at some point or another.
Yeah, and level 16 makes a big difference for the Chaos Knight. I mean, once you have those kind of stats to be able to support the mana pool, to be able to support a Phantasm, jump in, looks like Emerald Bulldog has been able to find Pylai Die. That's going to be a quick, easy kill. No, Pylai Die gets outside of range of that one, but he will be able to get it with the rocket. Rest of mid lane, though. S4 was gone on here. The Brewmaster is going to toss up, EGM, relocate. It's going to be going down in a second here. It doesn't look like we're going to find anything else. So 2 supports go down on the side of Cloud9, Alliance establishing very early dominance wherever they go.
Yeah, 4 staff already up on Clockwork too, so he is super scary, and at least C9 was able to take out their Ancient stack before Alliance threatened that position. Had they not done that and Alliance had secured that for themselves, perhaps with Chaos Knight illusions, that would have been very, very detrimental.
Now Haas pulling up the stats, you can tell this Tinker certainly having a hard time, but he still has like really good timing for his boots of travel. So he's going to be very happy with the position he's sitting in, finally getting that boots. And well, we also have Alliance. They do have the relocate. They showed it in the mid-team fight. But they're going to be showing it a lot more as bottom lane. Once S4 starts moving around and setting up those easy, like all you have to do is find one disable and the relocate is going to be right on top of those heroes. In fact, here comes your disable. Admiral Bulldog, I don't think he needs any help on this one, man. Pylai Die will fall nonetheless.
Wow, Pilot, what was that impale? Anyways, Pilot has just been getting caught out of position a lot, but that's very, very difficult since Admiral Bulldog has been spot on with his hook shots, with his positioning.
Moving around the map, providing as much pressure as possible. You'd love to be able to see him shut down the Tinker once or twice, but I think he's done an admirable job so far. Completely unintended pun, but we also have, again, the rotations from EGM and Loda to be afraid of, and looks like they're going to be farming up a little bit. I like the fact that Alliance aren't trying to push themselves too hard here. They're sitting back, farming up a little bit here and there, waiting for their basic, because they're really strong in the mid game, right? It's not necessarily the 15-minute mark where they truly shine. I would say it's more like the 25-minute mark where you have Storm Spirit pick up his first item. You've got some big stat items on both the Wisp as well as the Chaos Knight, so they're pretty tanky and don't have to deal with that instant burst damage both the Nyx and the Lion provide.
And it looks like they're...
Yeah, Cloud9, they're just spamming out marching machines wherever they go, afraid of any sort of aggression from Alliance. Rockets here and there, Bone 7. Who knows where he's at, Storm Spirit.
We've actually seen S4 not really be active at all. He's 0-1-0 right now. Not that he really has needed to be. It looks like he's just trying to find his Orchid as soon as possible and just pick off weak supports or potentially pick off Panda in the team fight. But this is an active decision from Alliance. They're not going all-out aggressiveness. They're not going balls to the wall. They're just going to take it easy, get their items, and take it from there.
Cloud9 showing 4 heroes in this top lane, sitting behind the tier 1 tower, and just hoping to be able to hold on to Admiral Bulldog. Does run into Sing Sing, who was behind the tier 1 tower. Now Sing Sing's gonna jump, get the double clap onto Alliance, throws the stun onto EGM, follows up with the right click damage, and the finger goes out on Loda as well. Can they even finish him off though? Finally, Bone 7 gets that last right click. Lion will die as Admiral Bulldog force staffs himself forward to find another kill, trying to get onto Bone 7. Okay, leaves out an ultimate at the last second, barely managed to get away with his life as Sing Sing comes back and dies instantly to the Storm Spirit who held him up. At least Eternal Envy did manage to claim that tier 1 tower, but he needs to get out. Loda here searching where he can. Eternal Envy juking around a little bit more, but can he actually get this distance here? Okay, he's gonna make the jump in. Ice Pad, perfect on the mark, and that just might give Eternal Envy enough room to be able to maneuver. Aoi will give up his life, but it saved the Tinker, and that is a worthy support trade.
And whoa, S4 almost dying from that right there. And Aoi actually going for the Liquid Fire build. I know he's really a big fan of the Liquid Fire build, but I think in this particular game, he's not actually able to pressure that many towers. It's not your typical Aoi 2000 support game where you can just go out by your lonesome and, you know, casually farm, casually push. They have a Storm on the other team, they have a Wisp and a CK, and they have a Clockwork. So in this game, I think he needs to go a more defensive build, maybe maxing Ice Path, maxing Dual Breath, so that he can save Eternal Envy from potential danger.
Yeah, it's certainly like Alliance started off with giving Cloud9 zero room with those supports to be able to do any kind of pushing with their aggro try, and then have committed that with all the extra mobility that they have between the Storm Spirit, Clockwork, and the Wisp Chaos Knight combination. That is everything you need, especially on a support. While be tanky, Jakiro has no escape mechanism whatsoever, and you just cannot defend yourself with an Ice Path.
And see a double damage rune down there. S4 still.
Smoke is going to be revealed as Aoi runs right into Admiral Bulldog there, getting caught in. Nice silence coming out on the side as Ake slows up Bone 7 as much as possible. Still will go down. 1-for-1 trade so far. Sing Sing, oh, he's going to be caught out as S4 makes that rotation. 3-second stun, and another falls. 2-for-1 exchange. Alliance with a very successful Smoke so far. They're going to continue this now, using that aggression to be able to try and take a tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Eternal Envy will do what he can to stop it, but you have to keep your distance away from some of these Alliance heroes.
This mid tower is so important for Alliance to take down, not mostly for Roshan and jungle control like it usually is, but more for ancient control. And Tinker's really hard pressed to find some sort of farm. He's really been farming in this area down here, using that triple camp and mostly just farming the jungle because he doesn't ever want Alliance to have eyes on him.
Eternal Envy, he went for that split push in the top lane, knowing he can't defend that middle tier 1 tower, and he's about to show that he's going to be pushing in this bottom lane as well. So with the blink dagger he has, he could be a lot more aggressive with his blinking, and it's going to be up to heroes like S4 and Admiral Bulldog to try and catch out with their individual single target stuns that they have to be able to grab that Tinker before he makes the blink away right after the March of Machines.
S4 almost dying to the March of Machines down bottom. It's a close one. And still working up towards that next item. Fairly close. Oh.
Sange being picked up by Loda. Looks like he's also going to be going for BKB, but a smoke also going to be revealed as C9. Managed to snag EGM real quickly. Can they get Loda as well? Loda has actually found Eternal Envy, but he's in the trees. He can't really go for that one. Sing Sing now popping the ultimate, stunning up Loda. Goes for the kills. Loda's so tanky, though. They're going to throw everything they have at him. Even the kitchen sink will be able to secure that kill. Now Admiral Bulldog is next. They start stunning him up, but can't really go too much now. They've already thrown everything they have at Alliance, and Alliance know it too, as they start being the aggressor. So Admiral Bulldog barely missing that hook shot. Bone 7 still going to be caught as S4 makes a long jump in. Does he have enough burst damage to finish off Bone 7? He does before his stun can come out. And Cloud9 now in their retreat. Alliance looking to grab more here, but the missed hook shot and S4 already blowing a lot of mana. GM, that was a very defensive relocate, trying to come in and be able to finish off some of these heroes. Sing Sing finished off the Skywrath Mage with a quick 1-2 punch. And oh, EGM, his relocate runs out just in time to be able to get himself away from that Tinker's burst damage.
I like how Cloud9's not, they retreat together. They retreat as a team. Had they not, they would have gotten picked off 1 or 2 more deaths. And S4.
Just like Pylai man, who Orchid is revealed from S4, and he's going to be able to get that kill nice and easy, and keeps on moving around with his haste rune. Jumps over to the Ancients and teleports himself away. And look at that, Admiral Bulldog, he's been farming so well, it's not a surprise that he's all the way to his next item already. Loda as well has been farming up. I mean, what do you think about this build? Like, he's going pure tank here. The Sage into the BKB, I'm presuming, with that Ogre Club. Not even trying to finish off a Halberd or an SNY first.
I think it's completely appropriate given how much flack they've given him this game. Every time he just gets focused down so hard by Brewmaster. Sing Sing has constantly been blinking on him, clapping, and then ultimating him every time, sometimes a finger of death or two to go on top. He really needs a BKB so that he can weather the storm during a Panda ultimate, but at the same time, they've been making a lot of space for S4. He's been playing so patiently. Sing Sing gets caught out.
Yeah, they're going to hold him in. Sing Sing, blown up by the Skywrath Mage, but at the same time, Bone 7 has come in. He's trying to commit to that kill on Ake, but the relocate is also coming in. They're easily going to be able to secure the Nyx Assassin kill. What else can they get out of this? Even the Force Staff, they're trying to push Loda into a position to find more heroes, but they're just going to back themselves up. They already found 2 pickoffs and just more and more map control. This is the power of the Chaos Knight Wisp. Even if it has been nerfed ever since that tether no longer providing that stun, the combination isn't nearly as strong, but it certainly does keep up a lot of pressure.
Zip up in mid. S4 with another Orchid.
They already, Pylai Die barely surviving through that combination. S4 will now get turned around on all the Earth Spike. So close, and S4 makes the jump away, and that'll be a perfect trade for Alliance as they take the tier 1 tower, the top lane, in the meantime. So because S4 did not die, it's all gravy for Alliance. And now they're taking down the towers that they need. I had to say, this Chaos Knight, we didn't really think about him before in the back of the days. We saw the Chaos Knight Wisp. You didn't really call that much of a pusher. It was just team fight, team fight, team fight. But this Phantasm is doing a lot of work for Loda so far, taking down towers when they're unprotected like that, and maybe even better when he does get that RNG extra illusion.
Yeah, this is a very unusual way to play Chaos Knight, but it's perfectly appropriate for C9, and they're kind of forcing Tinker, hey, I dare you guys to come out and push, and Eternal Envy, woo, narrowly dodges a gank right there. And C9 has 2 heroes specifically picked to deal with the Storm Spirit too, the Nyx Assassin as well as the Storm Spirit, and I'm very surprised that S4 only has 1 death in this game. They mainly just let Loda out to die a couple of times, but once Storm Spirit gets his BKB, he's just gonna rampage all over these supports.
Now, the Tinker build here, what do we want to see? Do we want to see the Scythe of Ice build of older days where you just constantly keep one person disabled as much as possible? Or do we go for the burst damage here and try and go for the Dagon Ethereal Blade combo?
Well, they're going to have BKBs by the time he gets his next big item, so he has to go Scythe of Ice. If he doesn't, they're just going to get run over. They're already going to get countered pretty hard by BKBs because very much no one can do anything except for Scythe of Ice prior to BKB actually being popped.
Rocket, gonna be able to reveal Eternal Envy, and he knows Admiral Bulldog is hunting for him, will be able to hit the hook shot. Now S4 follows up, Relocate comes in, they find an additional kill as Pylai Die with a 4-second stun will go down. Sing Sing has jumped in, but he's been pulled up, and the silence will keep him from being able to do much more. Both 7 turns, fights up against EGM, but the Relocate goes out just in time. Owie, now on the ropes trying to get himself away. Eternal Envy comes back, silenced up. Do they have enough magic damage? Admiral Bulldog's diving in deep. He wants this kill, he can taste it, he will fall, but Loda will get some vengeance for his ally. Gets that kill. Now Owie trying to slow down Loda as much as possible within that tier 3, but he might not want to overextend himself. Owie throws out the ice path. Beautiful dodge there from Loda as he gets 3-second stun and wiping Cloud9. Alliance, 4 heroes up. Admiral Bulldog laid his life down on the line on that tier 3 just to ensure Alliance could move forward.
He's been missing a couple hook shots, but that was by far the most important one that he's hit in this entire game. Just completely set the ball in motion. And Tinker, he died twice and he bought back.
Yeah, he is unbelievably set behind now from that whole entire play. And Alliance, well, they haven't taken any additional towers, but they certainly put enough pressure where Cloud9, every single lane is either pushed out or defended in some ways. You can see S4 is just farming up this top area. There's nowhere really for Eternal Envy to go at this point without putting himself in grave danger.
Yeah, and that was a really quick Orchid from S4 too. Had Panda gotten his ultimate off, it might have been a little bit of a different fight, but I also like how they picked nice heroes to synergize with Skywrath's Mage ultimate.
S4, Mana Burn goes on to him. He's getting low. Bone 7 jumps away. He realizes he's not going to be able to actually ensure that kill, and because of that, he just blinks, grabs the double damage real quick, and it looks like Roshan will be taken down. Alliance are going to be able to secure that one nice and easy. 500 health left. So that's going to mean Aegis going the way of Loda. If that guy was already so tanky, they couldn't kill him once. How are they going to kill him twice, Romania?
And yeah, it's not going to be from Brewmaster Ultimate. The time to shine from him is about over. It was like kind of close once Storm Spirit got his Orchid, but now that he's got his Orchid, they won a big team fight. Panda is almost irrelevant with Chaos Knight having a BKB and Aegis now. He's, as you said, nearly impossible to take down, and they really need Tinker to take over that mid-game, late-game control, and he's just not farm enough to achieve that role. And it's still going to be at least another 10 minutes, I say, until he can pick up the slack. And even if he does, they can probably BKB strike him down if he gets a nice hook shot from Admiral Bulldog without any force staffs on the side of C9. He's just gonna die. It looks like Nyx Assassin may be building towards one, could potentially be a mech too, but one hook shot will spell doom for C9.
Cloud9 certainly on the ropes right now. Looks like S4 is going to be going for BKB, so he doesn't have to deal with those pesky disables from the Lion and any other follow-up after that. They certainly have enough burst damage to take out the Storm Spirit real quickly, so the faster he can get that BKB, the more aggressively he can dive in. Just try and go for the Tinker kill. He pops the BKB, and there's no real response from them. Eternal Envy, well, he's just been caught out. He's been tried to aggressively as humanly possible. dive in, throw out the March of the Machines, and just keep Alliance back, right? He's just fighting for time at this point in time. You can't really blame him for making a move like that because he knows he cannot afford to just
relocate him mid with BKB.
Oh, S4 is going to be able to get himself away. Brewmaster does get off his ultimate. He's going to go straight for EGM, but a relocate already down in seconds. Doesn't commit for that kill, and hey, that's a relocate traded for a Brewmaster ultimate. I'm happy if I'm Alliance.
Yes, indeed, and Cloud9, I mean, they're just falling apart at this point. What exactly do they do? Cloud9 is trying to create space. We see Pilot get a nice pick off on EO up top, but in the grand scheme of things, C9 still losing towers and still losing their Tinker. They need someone else to create space for them at this point. I think they want Bone 7 to, but he just can't.
Bulldog going to be able to find that jump in. Now the Skyrise Mage also goes off. They did get at least 2 there. Bone 7's also going to fall. Jakiro, Nyx Assassin, and Brewmaster all on the sidelines at Alliance. Now looking to be able to push uphill. Why not? They kept everyone alive except for that previous Wiz pickoff, and they still have the
Look at Bulldog's positioning, and he finds him.
Beautiful. Eternal Envy caught behind the tier 4 Ken Admiral. Bulldog, though, he can't even get this kill, and there's no follow-up from Alliance. Maybe that was just too aggressive from Bulldog. Beautiful hook shot, though, I have to say. I mean, if you can take out that Tinker and trade your life for it, it's worth it 100%, because without the March and the Machines, how can Cloud9 stop that push from Loda?
Yeah, Loda actually ran out of mana too, so might want to consider going some mana items at this point, or even a magic set. I guess he doesn't even have any room for that. Too rich.
Look at that. Still just the Sage. For Loda, he's actually full up Bottle Reaver at this point in time. Mass strength everywhere. And just goes, you know what, Cloud9, you have a whole bunch of burst damage, but if I could survive through all that, what other sustained damage you really have? And that's primarily on the Tinker, but they've been hunting him down very aggressively with the Storm Spirit and the Clockwork, and they will continue to do so.
Yeah, I still don't know if that was a misclick to buy that early Belt of Strength, because if he just wanted one casual strength item, he could have easily gone Drums of Endurance, and it would have been much better overall for his team. So still not sure whether that was on purpose or not. Well,
Cloud9, they're hard-pressed here to get any control back. As you can see, Eternal Envy has been pushing up that top lane. Of course, the Wiz Chaos Knight have been threatening him here and there. But Eternal Envy, I mean, remember that whole dieback thing, it just sent him so far behind with the Scythe of Ice that he's still struggling to be able to make it back to that point.
Admiral Bulldog's been relatively quiet this game, and I mean, I did not expect him to have an 8-2 and 8 score at this point, and look at his items. Just purely to shut down EE.
Absolutely. He is looking good. Both teams off in their own individual areas, looking to be able to just farm up. Of course, Alliance can sit back and farm, right? I mean, I don't really give them too much pressure. They're dealing with the Tinker in the late game. Everything else, I feel, falls off quite heavily for Cloud9.
Well, they just have 2 heroes that can't be stopped at some point or another. Loda with 3,300 HP at this point.
S4 finally found it. Tinker gets picked off, and I think that's what they needed to be able to take it to.
They know Cloud9 too well. They just love to play around the tree line and constantly try and avoid fights and delay the game for as long as possible, which generally works unless your most important hero gets picked off multiple times.
And in this case, Alliance are now going to be able to push her into this tier 2 tower as much as possible. Cloud9 at a loss for what they need to do in order to stop this. Ake, S4 as well as the rest of the team are going to be pushing in that bottom lane as much as possible. And jump in from Sing Sing top lane. They're going to try and burst down EGM quickly. And they do so as successfully. However, Loda, he's so tanky. They don't even want to fight him, man. They're just getting it away from him as fast as humanly possible. He popped the Phantasm. He popped the BKB. They lost a tier 2 at the bottom lane in the process, but at least they didn't have to fight up against that Chaos Knight. How long do they have to delay in order, like this Chaos Knight is just getting bigger and bigger, and I feel like there is no increase of sustained damage here for Cloud9 that could actually kill Loda.
I don't think so either. I don't think they're going to get it just because Eternal Envy keeps dying. Wow.
Bulldog finding them again. You said it, Andy. They know Cloud9 too well. And Bulldog finds the pick off onto Pylai Die that is going to ensure another tier 2 tower goes down, this time in the top lane.
Yeah, 12-second cooldown. Why not just use it freely?
Absolutely. 3K on Storm Spirit.
So as you talked about earlier, Tinker's timing for his items was actually pretty good considering the situation. He had a 12-minute BOT, Soul Ring.
Yeah, they were really fast, honestly.
Yeah, he got a Blink Dagger at a pretty good pace, and then the Ultimate Ore came out actually very fast after that. But since then, since like the, I don't know, probably 13 minutes, he's probably accrued 2,000, maybe 1,500 gold in that time span net worth, and that just can't happen if you expect to take this late.
You're looking at that gold Graffin experience. You're not feeling too happy if you're a Cloud9 fan, but of course Cloud9 will be holding on to this game. They have the turtling power with the Brewmaster initiation, the constant spam of the March of the Machines. It's tough for Alliance to actually be able to push uphill. It's all in the back of Loda right now. They can actually move and try and pick off every other hero except for Loda. He's probably going to have to be left for last at this point, because if they go for Loda first, they're expending so much just to be able to kill him. And they might not even do that much. I mean, with the heart, the BKB, and now the SNY, it's unbelievable amount of HP.
Yeah, I think what they need to do is what they've been doing, which is try and find farm with Tinker if possible and blow up EGM ASAP. Because as you've seen, like, Chaos Knight actually has mana issues. He casts all his spells once he's almost out of mana. Combine that with 1 mana burn, he might not even be able to stun anybody, and then you can just kite him. Granted, if he pops his BKB, you won't be able to mana burn him, but that's probably their best bet. Okay, somebody's going to die to Phantasm, Reality Rift, Chaos Bolt, but at least we can try and clean up everyone else, get some gold and experience in the meantime, and try and level out some of these graphs.
Vision on both sides has been pretty amazing. I think that both teams have been trying to put a large emphasis. Of course, Cloud9 want to be able to know where those highly mobile heroes such as the Chaos Knight, Wiz combination, the S4, a Storm Spirit, where they're moving around, where there's an opening for Eternal Envy to be able to push. And of course, C9 looking for as many pickoffs as humanly possible. They're now going to commit to this tier 3. Loda quickly takes this one, and Cloud9 not really in a position to defend just yet, and that means Loda will be popping that Phantasm. Got a little lucky there and got that extra illusion, which means a ton of physical damage, and they can't clear through these illusions. They're going to stop BKB, activated by Loda before the stun can land, and that means a kill onto the Nyx Assassin, and maybe even more. Sing Sing, he's popped his BKB, glowing and golden, but it doesn't matter because S4 is just finding those exposed hero. Now get the Lion in the background, backs himself away. They already got the melee racks, and they can content themselves for that, or they can try and crush Cloud9 right now and take them out of the game right away.
Well, it's shortly after 8 minutes after the last Rurushan spawns, so Alliance can just be patient. They're under really no pressure this game. Tinker, oh no, Sing Sing!
Bulldog, he wants to go in deep. Sing Sing's gonna be picked off as Bulldog finds that hook shot. And now they grab the range racks as well and start moving up to the tier 3 at the top lane.
The classic fake back move from Alliance.
Beautiful, man, it's beautiful, and Cloud9 still 2 heroes short of being able to provide a defense, and if Eternal Envy goes down, that's gotta be the G's. As Eternal Envy does get picked off, Bone7 tries to counter-initiate where he can, gets pushed back by the Cogs, and with 3 heroes down for Cloud9, that's gonna ensure a second set of racks, and sure enough, Cloud9 will call the GG at 33 minutes in. Alliance taking an early lead in this 3-game series.
Absolutely dominant performance from Alliance, and Alliance, they may have not had the best results in the past like 5 or 6 months combined, but they just know Cloud9 so well. They're probably one of the teams they face off the most.
Honestly, it was amazing rotations from all 3 of those cores from Alliance, knowing Cloud9 every single move that they made and finding the pickoff. But guys, let's see what the analysts have to say about Game 1.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, back over on the analyst desk, we actually have a replacement. We are subbing in and out, so Mel's just taken a little bit of time out, but we're pleased to say that we've got, I hate to say this name, but okay, I'm going to use it. Big Daddy has joined us. I much prefer your old
There's no shame in saying it. You just gotta get used to it.
I know it's going to take a while to get used. I prefer your old one. Welcome to the desk.
You want.
You're very kind. Great to have you with us. Congratulations on the win earlier on, and just a terrific game.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Yeah. What do you think so far? This game, Alliance.
Well, I think
dominant.
Alliance are coming in pretty strong. Yeah, into this tournament, and I think the draft was really solid, and I think it suits their style a lot. So I'm happy to see that from them.
Yeah, Seb, you said you were looking for some, you wanted it to be kind of radical or at least innovative. Was it innovative or Melk sort of said he felt like this was a draft that would say, we don't really care what we play, we'll just play to win and we don't really mind what we run.
It was a very defensive draft from C9, at least in the early game, and they didn't manage to actually defend their towers and their key heroes. The Tinker got destroyed, and by the time he got back into the game, Alliance just had taken all the tier 1 towers, destroyed the Brewmaster. So the game just completely they snowballed really hard on C9.
It got away from him. Bruno, that Tinker choice looked quite cool when we were going through the draft, but then in theory, great, but in practice, I mean, they just focused that and said, no, we're not letting that get out of hand at all, and they shut him down. 0 kills.
Jacob was right with the clockwork peak. I was like, isn't it a little bit overkill? And he said, yes. But yes, turned out into, what was his final score? I don't think he...
I think it was 0-7.
Something like that. So
pretty poor.
Stopping the Tinker was a strat, and stopping the Tinker they did. Big win for Alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. Sinun, thoughts on that game?
I just loved Alliance's draft because of it's something I mentioned a little bit earlier today, how good it is to have these kind of drafts where you have multiple ways of initiating, and they have a Clockwork to catch out heroes, they have a Storm Spirit to catch out heroes, and they have a Relocate Gang to follow up or to catch out heroes. So no matter where Cloud9 went, no matter where the Tinker went, he couldn't use his knowledge of the map position of other heroes, because no matter where he went, there would always be some sort of hero missing that could catch him off. And that's why I think the Clockwork was really good, because usually if you play Tinker against 1 or 2 counter picks, let's say the Storm is the counter pick, and he can see Storm on the map. He knows he can farm the other lanes, but at this point, Alliance always had either Storm, Clock, or maybe the Skywrath even off the map, and suddenly they come out of nowhere, and Envy wasn't safe anywhere in
Yeah,
this
I mean,
game.
you're right. It was a thinking man's draft, wasn't it? It really was. They put exactly the right pieces together. Match 2, I mean, they're not out of it. Cloud9, we know how good they are. We've seen them come back before Dream League, obviously, 3-2. So we know that they can do this. What are they going to do in the second one? Draft differently for starters, sure. But did you see, problems with their chemistry, problems with their team play?
That is really hard to say. From our perspective, when you see the whole picture, it's really to point out mistakes, but it all comes down to these little things that you don't get to see when you're getting to see everything. Actually, I want to forward your question to Notel. I mean, you play these two teams a lot of time, and Alliance, they're playing really, really well right now, but looking at Cloud9, imagine if you were there, like, would you keep trying to do the same, or would you try to do something different versus this Alliance?
I don't think I would, if I was in their shoes, I don't think I would play against Wisp again. That's my personal opinion. If something is hard to deal with, you just want to get rid of it rather and try round 2 against something else. Like Vichy, they tried over and over again. They felt that they succeeded second game, but still they tried. Even though I feel that you go against a team's stronger side, an Alliance strong side is still Wisp. Like I think they play a really good Wisp. That being said, I still think that game, they had a good plan. Like they were planning to fight with that lineup. They don't have a hard carry. They have a Tinker and a Brew, 2 good heroes against Wisp. Yeah. In a way, it can go both ways, but the idea was to fight. And from what I got from the game is that they just lost the fights.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can put more into it, but I think it was simple as that. Like you lose the fights, you get behind. It's hard to come back with a lineup like that, and it's hard to come back in general against that much catch, because you can't split farm.
Yeah.
So I think the plan was good, but execution not there.
Get away.
They could try again, but yes, if I was them, I would get away from the Wisp.
Okay, we'll find out after the break exactly how the draft goes for our second game. Thanks, gents, for now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, game number 2 will be with us. But before we go there, I do have a very quick announcement for you. Unfortunately, due to some noise local laws that we have here in Frankfurt, we aren't going to be able to show you the final game of the night. So instead of cancelling it or playing it backstage, we will be playing it tomorrow morning. The doors will open at 9:30 in the morning, and you'll be able to watch the game live from 10 a.m. Central European Summertime. So that will be tomorrow. That will be our final game of the day. The words are due here. Unfortunately, Bruno's very upset about that. Sorry, Bruno.
Bruno's
it's okay,
still
though.
going to be played.
You still get to see the game tomorrow. So it's all good.
You promise?
It's all good.
Thank you.
It's going to be fine tomorrow. So apologies for you guys who have come down. I know that lots of you have come down. We hope you come back tomorrow. And also those of you online who are looking forward to that. But we will bring you full coverage, as we've said, of the quarterfinal tomorrow morning instead. It's open doors at 9:30, game from 10:30, I'm being told, in the morning. So we'll make sure we see you then. We are going for a quick break now. When we come back, though, it is game number 2 to find out whether the Lions are going to steamroll through to the semi-final or whether Cloud9 can make the comeback.